Hey, what's up? It's Aaron. I'm here with my buddy Jason. We're here to talk about week 4 of the SoonerNation Fantasy Football League. Jason, things are good. Like, no question, this season is a lot more fun for me so far than last season. Like, last season, through 4 weeks, 240 points. This year, 407. That's 167 more points, 41 per game compared to this point last year. Now, what if I told you I know where these points have come from? There's a team averaging 27 fewer points this season. You can probably guess who they are. 414 points last season. They'd currently be second place in our league.
Okay.
305 this season, the Galloping Ghosts.
Oh my goodness.
27 fewer per game.
As Kaylin and all the kids gather around on the couch, they put it up
Yeah, I
on the
know. I
180
shouldn't have
inch
started the show that
television
way.
screen. Their 180 inch television screen. It comes down out of a wall, and their view of the Rogue Valley. The 180 inch screen.
Yes.
Just customized. They're watching us on that screen right now.
Yeah. And
I want to just say sorry to the kids.
I
You know,
shouldn't have started the show that way. That's a good call. We should have eased into that.
But the
Uh,
TV, Josh, send this picture of your customized rounded TV that comes out in front of the glacial view of the Rogue Valley.
Well, and the butlers have to pull the curtains back. We should have them in the shot too,
Right. And
because
they're beautiful. Those butlers are
oh
gorgeous.
yes, yeah, you kiss them, you just kiss
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You want to talk about week 4?
I want to talk about week 4. Do I want to talk about week 4? Do the 4-0 correct
Yeah,
kid want to
yeah,
talk about week 4? The week 4
yeah,
recap, the week 5 preview show. Whoa, help us. Help us
yeah.
narrate this story of the
Man,
year with the 3-1 Hellhounds sending the Ghost to be a one win team.
yeah. And you heard it here. I called it. I called it. You didn't want to take him, but I took him. I
I
took
did.
John.
Yeah.
Boy, speaking of John, look at the embarrassment of Richards at quarterback. Like Purdy's been fantastic this season. 32 is fine. You can't complain over anything 30, really, I feel like. But down on the bench, he's got two 50-point quarterbacks. Like all you quarterback needy teams, just expect a flurry of trade offers. There's your slide. Yeah. Expect a flurry of trade offers this week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Deservedly so. Deservedly so.
yeah. Yeah, because and John's got some needs we'll talk about later. But for a team that scored 101 points this week, the Hellhounds BMI is going to be rough.
Yeah.
Got season best games out of Fryermuth and CD Lamb. Revenge game against the Ghosts for CD Lamb. But boy, how the mighty have fallen. Champion Ghosts are just dead last in points this season. They aren't even close to 11th place Mahoney, averaging 8 more points a game.
Wow.
Um, they got their season best game out of Bijan or Brian Robinson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but boy, that's the extent of the highlights for them. Jalen Hurts didn't have Devonta Smith or AJ Brown, so that's understandable. But
Yeah.
Hurts hasn't cracked 36 points all season, so I don't know if a breakout game is coming or if that's just who he is. But I mean, not a lot of optimism in Camp Ghost these days.
Man, I hope I hope that Josh had the kids leave the room
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this
go to
portion
bed.
of the show, put him to bed, right, exactly. Uh but yeah, it's I did not see it coming, and I'm not going to count him out though. The Ghosts but I guess so I actually wanted to share one little story about Jordan Love. I looked at this stat
Hmm.
line and I looked at the Hellhounds, and I had one thought in my head. Uh, he's not number 10, but it reminded me of a player in Hellhounds lore. Number 11,
Yeah.
4 TDs, 3 interceptions, came from behind. They didn't win. It reminded me, and I thought it would be a chance for us to be able to remember the
Oh
lore of
man.
Dante Culpepper with John. And
It's perfect. I love
isn't
it.
that great? I just
That
saw
is
that
great.
stat line and I was like, oh my gosh, his team lost, but he scored
Yeah.
56 points in fantasy and had 3 interceptions. So I just
Yeah.
thought it'd be great to bring him up again.
I
Part of
love it.
not having this show is having some history. So
Yeah.
congrats to
Um
I believe, did Dante Culpepper bring John 3 championships?
he had Manning for in there somewhere too, but
Okay. Okay.
we can anybody that hates points taken away for interceptions, you can thank Dante Culpepper for that rule because
Absolutely.
we had it with that nonsense.
Yeah, yeah, we're not going to be able to throw 6 interceptions and have the most points scored. So just a
Yeah.
quick callback before we go to the next game.
I
So
love
Aaron,
it.
take us through Take us through this
Yes.
little game right here.
Yeah. Cobra Sweat Sox games are typically really intense affairs. It's like a Steelers Browns game or something. Cobras with no splash games really, but enough guys just came in and did their job. Our guys, we put on your helmet, grab your lunch pail, and you go to work. Um, Very excited about the play of Deontay Johnson. Wide receiver two has been an issue for the Cobras ever since the heydays of AJ Brown and AJ Green and Antonio Brown. Hopefully this continues. Andy Dalton doesn't turn back into a pumpkin or get replaced by the leader of the Lollipop Guild. You know, people come to this show for the hard-hitting fantasy analysis, but they stay for the 85-year-old Wizard of Oz references. That's what they do. It seemed like a Cobra blowout after the Ravens just mopped the floor with the Bills, held Josh Allen to 18. But boy, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams, they did not get the message that they were beaten. And they almost made up for that 41-point deficit. I was watching the Lions Seahawks game from the Caesars Palace buffet. So they have one TV in the joint. We randomly ended up next to it. I don't know. So mixed emotions as I'm just cracking crab legs and lobster claws. Butter's just dripping down my elbow. And here's Jahmyr Gibbs just scoring and scoring. I mean,
70-yard touchdown from JMO.
oh my gosh. And suddenly he's within a touchdown. And it's like, I'm just going to enjoy this food. Beating off a lot can be a sticky proposition. So we're just thankful for the win. We're on to the Rompers.
On to the Rompers. The picture that I picked for this game was of the $103
Looks like he might have been worth it.
It'll be interesting to see that. I think he's got a starting running back because man, did they feed Kareem Hunt after Steele had another fumble in the first drive. So first carry, I think. So you'll probably see a trend. For those of you who are watching, I don't tell Aaron the person, the team, the slide that I'm going to have after each show. We're going to have a theme this week of bench players. So we're going to continue the week.
Okay.
Aaron, take us through this absolute beatdown.
Wow. Yeah. Not a great game for any Rhino except Derrick Henry, but boy, Henry's getting stronger every week. I went back and looked at it. 10 points week 1, 15 week 2, 29 week 3, 32 this week. The Bengals are waiting next week. So, I mean, they're going to have one of the worst defenses in the league. I think they're going to try to keep Burrow on the sidelines. Henry might go for 35.
Do you want to tackle this guy coming at you?
Absolutely not. And I know the Bengals don't. They got nobody that wants to tackle him. Trey Hendricks is out. The Pharisees are floundering. No skill player touchdowns. 3 out of 4 weeks. Brian Robinson of the Commanders has been the best B. Robinson running back in the league.
Yeah.
For the Rhinos, Sam Darnold has outscored Mahomes the last 3 weeks. In light of the loss of Rashee Rice, do you think Jeff makes a switch?
I do. I think the better quarterback on his team is bench player quarterback Sam Darnold. I mean, maybe Pat comes back and proves us wrong, but I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs have scored less points every game this season, and they're still 4-0.
Just find a way to win.
Gosh,
great defense. Yeah, but it's not working for fantasy.
I was talking to Pastor John down the hallway, and he dropped Tucker Kraft for Mike Gesicki, and Gesicki gets him -9 yards. And I think that GM of the year may be out the window. I don't think that it's the coveted GM of the year award that we give out at the season's end. I don't think it's going to go to the Pharisees.
That's a rough drop ad.
So as we're talking about Derrick Henry,
it.
I just have to bring out one photo. It's my all-time favorite photo. Mark Ingram, formerly owned fantasy player of the $100 Legend and Lore store, putting him on my bench in college and spending $100 for Derrick Henry, looking out of the corner of his eye at the giant of a man who is
monster. What a guy!
Monster,
just getting
Derrick.
better.
Gosh. Okay. Take us through these two teams. Dude abides getting his first victory.
Yeah, dude surfed his way to the first win of the year. I'm afraid Mahoney may just be everybody's get-right game. Tough to win when you only get 20 points from your quarterback, but James Conner, Tony Pollard, they did the heavy lifting, secured the win. But Jane Daniels is just making it look easy, and I know they're scheming him up to do it, but it's great coaching because it's working. Um, I think he's got to be Jeremy's starter moving forward, unless he gives you a reason not to.
Let's take a look at
Uh,
the, let's take a look at these. Oh, I had a different slide in there, which was all of his quarterbacks, but my goodness, Jaden Daniels,
yeah,
what a player, what a game, what a pick. Uh,
yeah, it's
it could
it's
be if you were drafting if you're drafting a dynasty league right now, in our league where quarterback means so much, or other leagues where running quarterbacks mean more, he, I mean, is there going to be someone who's picked ahead of him?
I, I I would still choose 3 or 4 guys ahead of him.
Okay, who do you like? Who do you like?
I would still take Malik and Marvin and Caleb Williams ahead of him.
You would take Caleb right now in a dynasty league over Jaden Daniels.
Absolutely.
Oh, whoa. Okay, I would not.
They're being asked to do completely different things on the field.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm not taking anything away from Jaden Daniels because he has been just lights out perfect, but they're asking a whole lot more out of Caleb.
I'll let you have Caleb, but I'll take Jaden and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
How's that jersey? How's that Caleb jersey treating you?
Yeah, the Chinese kids I ordered it from sent me Justin Jefferson instead, so I just have it. It's still in the package.
Are you going to
It's
send it
not
back, or are
gonna.
you going to sell that off to maybe someone who might be interested in that jersey?
We'll see. We'll see what happens to it. I
Might
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 just
be a market for it.
yeah
Might be a market
yeah
for it. So
yeah.
I have a quick story about the game, just real quick. So you
Okay,
might
I do
actually
have. I had one more thing I wanted to talk about Chris,
please,
but
yeah,
I could
let's
do
get
it
some more
after yours.
let's
Okay.
get some more analysis.
Well, I just want to say Chris has a couple guys I like. I do think things are going to improve for Josh Jacobs. I like him moving forward, but man, the rest of his roster is a mess. And look, I know it's only week 4, and so much is definitely going to change over the next 3 months. But Jason, I want you to look at Chris's roster, and I want you to find me 6 keepers. Find me five. Find me 5 keepers.
Hmm. Okay. Um.
I mean, I think Dak and Jacobs and Cook.
Yeah. Obviously, those three guys, but I don't know. Um. Zeke,
Rough.
Cooks, Judy. I mean, I guess the fourth keeper. I guess Worthy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had him in there in that group.
You had Dak, Josh, Cook, and Worthy.
Yeah, I think that's like clear guys to hold on to, unless Worthy just is MIA the rest of the season.
I guess you would put Jawan Jennings as a potential keeper as part of that.
Well, and I think that's definitely the one to make 5 because I don't think they keep. Well, no, they did re-sign Debo, didn't they? He's on their contract too. I think Jennings has talent. But it's such a logjam there in San Francisco. Do you want to keep the third wide receiver?
And Dak's gonna be throwing to Jacoby Myers in Las Vegas next year. Wait, no, that's not gonna
No, they
happen.
re-signed him.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean, if I could, huh, somehow Caden Lahan will right this ship. Somehow Caden Lahan
Trust in
will
Caden.
put his hand around his dad and say, "Dad, we need to make some moves here to be able to use some of our
Right.
draft capital to get some young keepers." Um, speaking of young Caden, at 8:44, I went down St. Andrew's Drive. I would happen to be in the area, and as I looked at my phone, and at that exact moment, Mahoney took the L against
Oh no.
against the Tony Pollard scored a touchdown. Uh,
Uh,
and it was actually I think he had like a 30-yard rush to topple Mahoney, and I didn't know where Lahan lived, and somehow Lahan doesn't respond to me on his cell phone. He responds to me through like an iMessage. I'm not sure what's going on there, uh, but I asked him where do you live because I was gonna get I wanted to get a instant
yeah.
reaction,
Yeah, live reaction.
live reaction. So I went to this house. And I was like, maybe this is his house, and it ended up not being his house. And I'm super glad I did not go knock on the door. But I was trying to guess. I've been to his house a few times for the draft, and I was like, surely this is his house. I was wrong. So apologies to Chris and Caden's neighbor that I got wrong to get instant reaction. Perhaps we can
Hmm.
have some reactions in the future. Sorry for the terrible
Yeah.
picture. This is what you get at 8:45 at night in the streets of Oklahoma City trying to do the
Yeah.
kind of hard-hitting journalism that you're going to get from the RT Sports recap show. So
Yeah, I'm not even sure what I was looking at there.
yeah, that's a house on St. Andrews Drive.
It's like an Edison bulb or something.
Yeah, okay. This
Yeah.
this is another game that came down to Monday night. So take us through it.
Yeah. I love how balanced Brandon's score is. Trevor Lawrence was just okay, but then five double-digit dudes down the line there. No one spectacular, but just everybody shows up except Brock Bowers. And the Jets defense. I don't understand how you hold Bo Nix to 60 yards passing and you only get 3 points, right? Like that feels like they earned more points than they got, but.
I agree.
Brian Thomas Jr. has outscored Garrett Wilson 3 out of 4 weeks.
Wow.
So does Thomas hold on to the starting job alongside Malik? I don't know. I didn't have a high opinion of David Montgomery when he was in Chicago, but boy, this version of him is awesome. Yeah, there's Malik. God,
Just a
he's so
couple
good.
pictures here to remind you that
So good.
Malik and BTJ and Daniels, all on the same LSU team.
It's so stupid.
Gosh, it just like looking at this
Yeah.
photo is just
Yeah.
absolutely astounding. The talent in that photo right there after week,
Yeah.
just hard. I mean, absolutely astounding. So yeah, let's keep going about
Yeah.
David Montgomery with
Yeah.
that TD to put Brandon ahead.
Yeah. I think Chad's better than his 0-4 record indicates. 91 points isn't great, but he'd have beaten 5 teams with it. Not sure why Marvin Harrison can only do great at the beginning of a game. He just disappears.
But he scores in that 325 game before the other games tick off.
And actually, I wonder if it's the scripted plays. Like, they do, like, they've got the plays scripted out and they're like, we're gonna get the ball to Marvin Harrison. And then those plays run out, and then it's just Kyler Murray just running around like, oh, the ball. And that doesn't work with Marvin's style. I haven't really thought through that theory, but
pretty good. It's a pretty good theory.
Yeah. I don't know. Regardless, Harrison's off to a terrific start. The young tandem he's got there, Jaden Reed and Marvin Harrison Jr. That's great. I think that's great. I have another question for you, Jason.
Okay.
Say Chad and Jeff are talking trade. Mark Andrews for Kyle Pitts. Who says no?
They both say yes. They both say yes just to have a different change of scenery.
Just
that the change of scenery can make a difference.
We may find out after the season that Mark Andrews died in that car crash, and they've just been doing like weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, one of the biggest draft day disappointments for sure would be him for sure. We should do a draft of biggest disappointments of the year so far. He'd be up there for sure. So that's a great question. They both say yes. In fact, it should happen. They should make that.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be fun then if they do. We'll feel
great.
Like
the power of the show.
We get the assist.
Yeah, the power of the show. There's one last game to cover before.
Yeah, game of the week. Not much drama here. Jay was good. I mean, that's a good score. But cruddy kids are just playing on another level than the rest of the league. And I hate having to talk to you about this, but the Vipers are second in total points, and you're averaging almost 7 more per game. So just easy wins every week. You seem to have what are the two best wide receivers in the league, both courtesy of Chad. Nico Collins and Justin Jefferson. It makes me sick how you've been able to reinvent your team. Honestly, I'd have preferred you take the ghost route of winning and then stinking for a while. I don't know. Jay's quarterbacks, they all showed up. Look at that. Jay played the worst one, and he still got 46 points. So we talked about Mendenhall's embarrassment of riches. Jay's right there too. Like, those three guys are all playing so well. The Dolphins act like Tua's going to come back pretty soon, which yeesh, but maybe there's hope for Tyreek there. Love the season Kamara is having. But the Rashee Rice, obviously, just a devastating loss for the Vipers. He was looking top 5 this season.
Yeah, he was.
Josh Downs isn't on that level, but it's real nice that the Vipers can now just slide him in because at least he's got something to plug in there. But boy, what a loss.
Yeah. It's crushing, man. Yeah, he was playing that Travis Kelce role, find that soft zone, but he was able to
Yeah.
explode out of those spots. He looked awesome, and it was crushing to watch Pat Mahomes try to make a tackle and just absolutely destroy his own player's knee.
Yeah.
It
You
was
mentioned the guilt.
oh
You feel so terrible.
yeah, because it's
Like,
I
because he
mean,
threw the interception that caused the whole thing too. So, like,
and he's on his rookie contract. I mean, he's going to miss a full year, and so, I mean,
yeah,
it was a terrible interception too. I
yeah. And then
really
next
felt
year he's
bad.
going to jail. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
this was
Well,
it.
it seems to me like the smart thing to do would be to go ahead and get this trial over with and get that suspension
Yeah,
served right
yeah.
now.
That does make
Uh,
sense.
just like, hey, let's not have his surgery right away. Get the trial over with. Let us serve his suspension during these next few games,
Yeah, that's
next 10
smart.
games. That's what I would do if I were the Chiefs. Just because you don't want to have to miss 2 years. It just sucks, man. And these
Yeah.
moments, like I remember it was last year, I had a running back for Baltimore. I think his name was Keaton Mitchell, who I was like going to be promising, going to be like the future of the Baltimore running game. And he just blows up his knee. And I'm like, well, may never hear from him again. May never
Yeah.
hear from him again. The next thing you know, they got Justice Hill and Derrick Henry, and you're never going to hear from him
And
again.
it's yeah, yeah.
So
Some of these guys, and then but some guys hang around and they come back.
yeah,
J.K. Dobbins or
yeah,
James Conner was out with cancer.
yeah,
I
right.
mean, some guys are like, I'm still gonna run, and then
Yeah.
these others just it's tough.
I put this slide up just to be able to see all of Jay's quarterbacks with what he had there. And then my pictures here were these two guys just seem like I'm sure the league hates it, but these two guys are super fun to watch. And man, CJ looks for Nico constantly.
He's
Uh,
open all the
Hope they
time.
can stay healthy. I've won plenty of championships in September. But we're looking for more. We're looking for more. So let's take a look
Yeah, big.
at what happened this week at the waiver wire. Tell us about how you felt about this big victory today. And just so you know, and I get to confess, we have the show. We don't get to keep these secret, but I was one of the $42 bids.
Ah,
I thought that Wicks looks really good, especially with Watson being out for a while. So Christian Watson, that is. So how do you feel about the big victory today in the waiver wire?
yeah. I love Dontavian Wicks. Like, I was disappointed I didn't draft him. Um, I I feel like he's not quite as good as Jaden Reed, but I think he's easily the second best receiver there. I like him way more than Watson or Dobbs. So uh, I just to get the chance to have him, and because God, my goodness, that offense looks good.
Yeah,
I
yeah, they
mean, I just want a piece of that offense, and it's a guy that I really like. So yeah, I flew in last night, and I was putting my bids in when I got on the internet on the plane, and I put in like a $30 bid for him. And then before I went to bed, I raised it up to 40. And then when I got up in the morning, I was still thinking about it, put it up to like 65. And then at like 11 o'clock, I was like, I really want Dontavian Wicks. So then I went up to 75.
Hey, if you're out there and willing to disclose, let us know who the $45 bid was. It's kind of fun for us to know. I like that it's
I
blind.
think it was Weiss. He was either the 45 or the 42.
Okay. Okay. Uh, but I think that if we have some fun waiver bids, we may just include this in the breakdown of the weekly show. Let's take a
Yeah.
look at the league standings. There's
Yeah.
one undefeated team. There's one team without a win. So Karate Kid and Rowdy Rompers going in different directions there. Again,
Mm.
I've won plenty of September championship. We're looking for more. Just want to stay healthy and continue to build a good squad. Uh, you looked at the point total here. You've already mentioned it, but the kid on top by a wide margin and the ghost on the
Yeah.
bottom by a wide margin.
Nasty.
Something you did not expect to see for sure by any means.
Mm.
Best ball league, an interesting week this week. Do you see the Vapors going to 4-0 because they beat the Ghost by 1 point?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Also winning by 1 point. The Pharisees over Smitty win by a point on the second Monday night game, sending Smith
Yeah.
his only loss of the season.
But
The
there's
the
Jeremy
the Lydell
or
Cars,
Shane. Oh,
the Lydell Cars with 1 point win over
yeah.
Cooks. I mean, all of these games were
These are really fun
absolutely
games.
close. Yeah. But you had one team rise above all.
Oh,
Jane Cowherd
man.
with a 200-point game.
That is, I mean, that they put that up in a museum. Oh my
Look at
goodness.
that. That is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible, including the 3 touchdowns from Ken Walker on Monday night that was on Smith's
Yeah.
bench for the Karate Kid. We didn't mention that, but my goodness. The league
Yeah.
standings are the Vapors high and above everybody else,
Yeah,
looking to
just
chase that number one seed. And every team in the North Division has a better victory point total than any team in the South Division.
just trash in the South.
So
It's like real life.
just an absolute lopsidedness there. Also, hope the kids are in bed, but the Ghosts in his own best ball league, 0-4
Oh my goodness.
in the best ball league. Had to highlight that.
Boy.
The picks contest this week. Now that's something. The Ghosts and
Yeah.
Carr 11-5 this week to lead us to the picks contest overall standings. Cobras take a 1-game lead
Yes.
over Josh and John with 2 games behind now. Smith, a terrible week this week in the picks contest. May keep this in for a few more weeks just to people.
Yeah, he earned it.
He earned
Yeah.
it, and he picked a winner this week. He picked San Francisco. Shane, if you're watching, and I know you are, grateful for the responses. And hey, just gonna put this out there. If you've gotten this far, let us know if you're watching. This is fun for Aaron and I, but we like the commentary via text or on the message board.
Oh yeah.
But also, Shane, keep going. Go as long as you can. We want to see how many weeks you can pick a winner. That would be really fun for all of us. So thanks for
That'd be
picking
great.
San Francisco this week and another winner.
Yeah.
We had some league polls you put up this week. I thought you might want to talk about that before we hit the preview.
Yeah, I put that up last week. But yeah, I thought it would be interesting because I assume we're going to be all wrong on this. So I just thought it'd be fun because we think we know what we're doing by week 3.
Yeah.
And turns out like half of what we know is just BS. So um I I think I went with Jeff in my division because I felt like he was better, but now I feel like I'm better a week later.
Hmm. I chose you
I,
in that one. I chose you in that
yeah,
division.
yeah. I voted before I played him,
Oh,
and
okay.
then when I beat him, I was like, well,
Yeah. Change your vote. You can change your
uh,
vote. You can change your vote.
yeah,
But don't change. Let's keep this as a snapshot for weeks ahead. How about that?
yeah. See, I thought that would be fun. We go back and
Great.
look at this later and
Great.
see how dumb we are.
I don't know if everyone's interested in this, but I know a few people are. The super contest was full of red, just a bloody path this
Just a
week.
bloodbath. Yeah,
Very few wins, but
yeah,
Josh Weiss is looking
yeah,
really good right now.
yeah. He should have entered in real life.
He really should have. Uh, it's quite a payout. It's not that far of a drive from Medford either. So Weiss, next year maybe you should put in for this because you are putting the hammer down with another 3-point win. And if those of you think
Yeah,
it's easy to pick 1 or 2 or 3 winners, you think surely of all the slates against the spread, I can pick 3 winners a week in this
yeah.
contest. If you pick 3 winners every week, you're in like the top 10% of the league. It's elite. And for Smith and Whiteside and Chris, the Costanza way would have been so much better to pick your 5 games and then flip it
Just,
to pick the opposite way. They would have done better and
hmm.
amazingly better. So now it's time for us to get to
Yeah.
the 5 preview. Aaron, lead us through
Yes.
the Ghosts versus the Sox.
Yeah. So Shane won week 11 last year, 111-0. Josh won the one that counts, though, in the semifinals of the playoffs. So they split last year. Josh got the good one. We better hope Anthony Richardson's hip is okay. Either way, I'm going to greatly prefer Josh Allen in the quarterback matchup. Richardson does have that upside though, where maybe this is the week. He is playing the Jaguars, who have not seemed too imposing here. Running back's interesting. I think Brian Robinson seems to be the best of the bunch. The Miami run game, the stats on that is just gross. Their efficiencies. Um, I don't know. Each guy's got a guy that could explode though, as we've seen in. He took Swift out. Okay. But he's going with the steady Kareem Hunt. All right. Uh, I don't know. Amari Cooper versus the Commanders is kind of interesting. Cooper's been a head case, but they don't seem interested in playing defense in Washington. Um, I don't know. Shane is losing some big time guys to buy, but I'm still taking him. Give me Shane.
I'm taking Shane too. Speaking of buys, there are certain teams that kind of get hit with buys and injuries, and it's just with the injury bug hitting Tua. Our friend Josh has Mostert and Achan and Waddle, right? So you've
Yeah,
just got so much locked into an offense that is just locked up with Tua not playing and with really no options there.
just looking
Uh,
just
I will
gross.
say, my commentary that you left out is It's just like Josh to have Devonte Adams and have him traded to like a contender with a great quarterback. I'm just waiting for Josh
Yeah,
to be able to be like,
yeah,
oh, surprise! Somehow the Chiefs made room in their cap space to bring
yeah,
in Devonte Adams, or the Baltimore Ravens now have an elite wide receiver alongside Zay Flowers. So I'm just
man.
expecting Josh's luck to turn. And to have Adams become an elite top five receiver once again, and then investment in talent, not in
Yeah,
situation. So and I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown will stay down for long, but too many buys, too many injuries for the Ghosts. I'm
yeah,
taking the Sox too. I think that $103 investment in Kareem Hunt's going to be help the team with that holds the quarterback. That
yeah,
probably, I mean, I've talking about Jaden Daniels, but Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, it'd be hard to turn down either of those guys this season in a 1 year run.
yeah.
Josh looks good, even though he had 18 points. It's a bounce back week for Allen against Houston, so I'm going to take the Sox.
Yeah, we're agreeing. Okay.
What about this game?
Yes, yeah. So I beat Chad last year, week 5. It was my easily my best game of the year. I had 155 points in that game, and
Oh,
then just yeah. So my graph was like so. I hate when Burrow has to play a divisional game. Like the AFC North games are just brutal. So
yeah.
it's just like please survive. Um, we have brutal matchups across the board though. Like Brees Hall's coming off a stinker, and now he's
Right.
got to go to London to face a Brian Flores Viking offense.
Oh,
Like
good
nobody's
call.
solving, huh?
I forgot about the London game. My
Yeah,
goodness, that's an
yeah,
8:30 tip Sunday school. This guy's not going to be paying attention during Sunday school.
yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
can I borrow that Justin Jefferson jersey from my Sunday school class on Sunday?
sure, you can just have it. Give it to you for Roma Dunze. Deontay Johnson faces the Bears, so that's not great. Jonathan Taylor's got an easier matchup with the Jags, but he's also got a high ankle sprain, so maybe he's playing, maybe not.
Yeah.
Now Kirk Cousins has the Thursday night game, so I need the old prime time Kirk Cousins to show up, and the guy that poops down the leg of his uniform anytime the lights shine bright. Kyron Williams is definitely the scariest guy the Rompers are throwing out. Not excited for my first taste of Marvin Harrison, but give me Cobra win, ugly Cobra win.
I'm taking the Cobras too, and I want to take this moment to highlight your wide receivers, which are Jamar Chase, Deontay Johnson, Jackson Smith Najigba, Zay Flowers, and Wicks. You have a squad right now at the wide receiver position. And I
You left
also
somebody
think,
out too.
oh, Xavier, you have X too. Holy
Yeah,
cow. Your
yeah,
your
man.
depth your depth at wide receiver is legit right now. And also, I'll be curious who you put in that spot. I don't think Jonathan Taylor's going to play, but I'm going to guess in that spot you're going to be playing Justice Hill. He led the Ravens in catches last week, and
Yeah,
he looks really good.
he's
Even if
fast, man.
Taylor doesn't play, I think that you're going to be just fine, and I think the Rompers are going to be 0-5.
Oof, sorry, Chad.
So, what about the
Yeah,
Karate Kid matchup
man. Yeah, so you beat Chris last year, week 7, 102-87. Boy, Dak's got a tough matchup. He's got the Steelers
at Pittsburgh?
at Pittsburgh. That is not ideal. I do kind of like 3 of Chris's running backs. He's got James Cook versus Buffalo. He's got Josh Jacobs against the depleted Rams, and then Hubbard's been balling.
He
He's got a
actually, in breaking news, currently he has Hubbard in there rather than Josh Jacobs.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like all 3 of them this week. So, um, despite all that, I like Kenneth Walker and Jordan Mason more. I mean, those guys. Oh my god. Now wide receiver between you guys is just the mismatch of the century. I don't see a path to victory unless Justin Jefferson just misses the plane or I, I love Sauce Gardner, but he's not shutting Jefferson down. I mean, 4 weeks in, you're just distancing yourself from the rest of the team. I'm just hoping it's like a peak early and then fall apart in December. But I mean, this looks like another Daniel San blowout.
I'm obviously going to take the Karate Kid. I will say I do have some high level blue chippers. I don't have the depth that other teams have. I'm really grateful that my draft worked out to be able to pick the players that I wanted to pick when I was on a golf course overlooking the ocean, because having Mason and Charbonnet actually on my roster have just been absolutely huge. Mason looks like he's just been the guy that I needed with Pacheco getting hurt. Otherwise, I'd
It's,
be kind of like filling in with
yeah,
Madison or P Ryan or a backup
yeah,
for Green Bay. So but my depth is not strong. Looking at your wide receivers, I've got two that are awesome, and they may be the best two in the league. But beyond that, Rome had 1 point on Sunday, uh,
mm,
and so it's just an interesting thing to think when we get into bye weeks. Uh, I may
yeah,
struggle a little bit without that depth, but I think that I've got stars that shine pretty bright. So I'm taking the kid again to get to 5-0.
yeah. Supernova. Man, I almost made this one game of the week. And not
No,
because the teams are any good, but
true
this is
John
the John
John.
Bowl. Yeah,
True John John. Exactly right. I
yeah.
thought the
This is the
same
John
thing.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought our true game of the week deserved it a little more, but yeah. So the Hounds won last year, week 10. So this is it. This is let's see if they can hold on to it. It's going to be fun to see who he rolls with at quarterback, Mendenhall.
Yeah.
All three guys are like viable options, but nobody's like a slam dunk with the matchups. Well, actually, the Rams are terrible. So, but he's got Saquon on bye. He's got no Devonta Smith, no McConkey. I feel like the Hounds have to make a trade this week if they have any chance of winning, because he's just a. I mean, you're really going to roll Trey Benson out there?
No, he's
I mean, I
not.
guess. I mean,
He's not.
and
With those quarterbacks, he's going to find a way to
yeah,
not have Benson and Dortch by the time we kick off on Sunday at 3:05.
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming so. The Pharisees are just floundering, but it looks like Mixon's going to be back, so that should bolster the Pharisee run game. Uh, I don't know. Bijan's short week game versus Tampa. I guess that's good. I don't know. He only got 7 carries last week. He should be fresh. Um, I think Chris Olave gets the revenge game. He takes down the Hellhounds.
Okay, I'm going to
I'm
take.
picking. I'm picking the Pharisees. And I know John's going to make a trade and make this look like a stupid pick, but
Well,
yeah,
we've had too many
give me
picks the
Pharisees.
same. We've had too many
Yeah,
picks the same. I'm going to take the Hellhounds. I'm looking forward to seeing what trades are in the works with those quarterbacks this week. He, it's kind of fun to have that many good quarterbacks, but it's also kind of a curse. Same way with
it's
your
a
six
nightmare.
receivers, kind of like, which two do I go? Who is going to
Yeah,
catch lightning this week? I'm taking the Hellhounds to get to 4-1, sending the Pharisees to 1-4. And now, not quite to the game of the week yet, are we? This is just the next to
yeah, we
last
got
game.
I got 2 left here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, J1 week 9. So Jeremy wants a little revenge here. Jay's got a tricky quarterback decision to make. Goff's on bye, but man, we already talked about like Justin Fields and Geno Smith. They both have pretty good matchups. Seattle's just one of my favorite offenses this season. They are so fun to watch, like running and passing.
Yeah,
Amazing how much better they look without Shane Waldron at offensive coordinator. I
amazing.
mean, he's currently, clogging up the toilet bowl in Chicago, while they're just like running free in Seattle. Like you look at the route charts, and it is
Yes.
appalling. It's appalling. I don't know. Alvin Kamara versus the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Like that sounds like fun. Um, Chiefs defense is tough. Um, the Saints offensive efficiency is kind of terrible without Taysom Hill, and it's amazing with him. So they could be in trouble if he's out, but I still think that's going to be fun watching Kamara. Um, the Browns are going to be the latest team to try to solve Jaden Daniels, and based on what we've seen so far, I don't like their chances. Um, I do kind of like James Conner versus the 49ers. I guess you start Godwin and Pickens, but oh no, he's got Godwin and Moore in there.
Yeah.
Pickens has been balling.
Yeah, he has.
Uh,
Talk
I
about
don't
tough
know.
decisions because he also
Yeah, and
has
then
Diggs and Evans on his bench.
yeah, and Rashid Shaheed versus the Chiefs is a fun match
Absolutely.
if he wants to counter Kamara.
Wow.
He's got some crazy decisions to make at wide receiver. Uh, do not feel good about this. Hang on. All right, Jeremy, give me the dude to get win two.
Fantastic. I was going to take whatever you didn't want. I thought this is the ultimate coin flip game. So I'll take the Vipers. Uh, Even though I don't like rooting against Jaden Daniels. I just told myself I just don't know who's going to win this game. So I'm just going to pick opposite of you to try to catch
Take the
up.
points.
Yeah, I'll take the opposite team. It's you know what, of all the teams that are agonizing on Saturday night before the games kick off, I think that the due to buys might be the top of that list with Jaden and Kyler. And do I start three wide receivers? And if so, which running back do I start? And just,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised here to have him kick out Zach Moss because they're going up against Baltimore and just have another option to have another chance to get a wide receiver in there. Uh,
Yeah. I
I don't
kind of like
envy
that.
it. It's interesting how this goes. Like not having depth is a curse, but it's also great because you're not having to agonize. So some tough
You
decisions
can
there.
sleep easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So game of the week is yeah,
Game of the week.
you are gonna love this sponsor more than you're gonna love any sponsor because the sponsor of the week is the Ribs at Don's House. Congratulations,
I
sponsoring the
do
week.
love the sponsor.
Don Copeland's Ribs. Tell us
Yeah.
the Monday night party for the league happening over at Don Copeland's house. Time,
Yeah. I hope.
place, what to bring.
Yeah, we're coming. I guess I need a head count if you're coming, so make sure you've told me at some point if you're going to be there, because he's going to need to know how many ribs to buy. But I think yeah, everybody throw in. I think it's like I don't know, $5 or $10. We'll figure it out once I know how many people we've got. But yeah, we're going to watch the Monday night football game. We're going to eat some ribs. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully, see a good game.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Um, yeah, I hope a lot of people come,
Right.
because he'll be sad if you don't.
Oh,
And
we
you don't want to
don't want to
you
make
don't want
Don
to make
sad.
an you don't want to make an old man sad, do you? Come to the party, eat some ribs. It's a good
Come
time.
to
What
the
else are you
party.
doing? You're not doing anything great. Get
No,
off your couch and come over.
come to the first half at least, come
Yeah,
and
first half.
yeah.
Nobody's
So,
nobody stays for the whole thing. Just
yeah.
just show up. Have a good
Yeah.
time.
This is such a
Yeah.
great pick. Thanks to Don and his ribs for sponsoring the game of the week.
Yeah.
Amazing there's a better game than True John versus False John, but this is a huge
Yeah.
one. This is a blockbuster.
Yeah. Yeah. Brandon took him out last year, 106-77. Whew. Stalwart David Montgomery is on a bye. Brandon's probably going to go three wide receivers, and sure enough, that's what he's got. He's got some good guys to fill in there. Um, I don't love Garrett Wilson versus Minnesota, and Malik Neighbors has to face those two DBs in Seattle are rough. Man, they are tough.
So good.
Witherspoon he'll jack you up.
Yeah.
So that's tough. I like Brian Thomas Jr. with the Trevor Lawrence matchup. That's fun. Mahomes got the Saints Monday night though. You can score on them. They're great at tackling, so you don't get all the run after catch, which is kind of how the Chiefs get their bread buttered. So this is kind of a gross matchup for them now that I'm thinking about it.
Hmm.
He does have Derrick Henry versus the hapless Bengals though. So that may win the week for Jeff all by himself. I know Najee's probably going to try to run all over Dallas too. You can run on Dallas. They have no linebackers. Jeff's wide receivers have looked good too. I like the Rhinos to take it to 4-1.
Oh man. Okay, so I will take Brandon. I am predicting that Brandon crumbles under the pressure of trade offers from two of the teams that have three legit quarterbacks. I don't think Stafford's the answer. I don't think Lawrence is the answer. I think he's got an up and coming team. Last year, he went all in to get draft picks to be able to build the team he's got right now. I think he's got Wilson, Neighbors, and Thomas and Bowers, which is super fun. That
Yeah.
four right there is super awesome. I think
Solid.
Brandon's going to
Yeah.
use next year's draft capital to be able to gather a quarterback that we're going to look at and be like, dang, that's a team that can move forward with an actual quarterback. Because I got to tell you, Trevor Lawrence is not him. And they named the stadium after him, and his
That's
extension
embarrassing.
the extension hasn't even kicked in yet. His next
Yeah.
contract extension hasn't even kicked in yet, and you just know he's not the future, even though they're playing Indy at home. I think that Brandon's going to use some of his assets and draft capital to get, like, say, a Brock Purdy and move into a new level of elitism, move to 4-0. This is just such a big game of the week. Being
Yeah.
4-1 is a bigger deal than being 3-2. You want to go to 4-1. You want to be on that, that elite level. And I think Brandon gets it done via trade. We'll see what happens.
Wow. Yeah, we may get some good action this week on the old trade front.
I think we
Uh,
will. I think we will get those text fingers going.
hey,
Yeah.
Jason, I had one more little bit. I had it in the opening of the show eventually, but it's not great for Chad. So I hope maybe if I put it at the end, he won't see it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Great, great. Yeah, no one's watching
Yeah,
besides my mom
yeah,
anyway. At
yeah.
this point
And
in the show.
well, until awful announcing gets a hold of this and aggregates it, and then we're in trouble. But Jason, I want you to guess the difference in points per game. Don't look this up. The difference in points per game in our league between Nico Collins and Justin Herbert.
I'll say that Nico has 7 more points over the season than Justin Herbert as starting quarterback.
It's not quite that bad. Herbert does have more points than Collins,
Okay.
but only at a clip of 6 per game.
Okay. Okay.
So as a quarterback is only scoring 6 more points a game than Nico.
God,
And it's only 4 weeks. It's only 4 weeks.
I know, but the guy Nico looks so amazing, man. And this is with so many. You should see the targets. I watched pretty closely the Houston game. I'm pretty involved
sure.
in that offense. Like he's throwing to him a lot more. I mean, CJ's does not look as sharp as he did last season as far as his completion percentage, but he's just searching out Nico. It's amazing, even with Diggs there. So,
okay. So sorry. That's it.
Hey,
thanks for staying with us. This bonus content, everybody.
Thanks for the research you do. Thanks for hosting us. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
See you, Jason. Good job.